This week on Two Noobs, Target planning to close a bunch of stores due to retail theft. 3 guesses which cities are involved. In our Water is Wet segment, the U.S. warns that China is spending billions to spread disinformation across the world. Then, a Gator is denied entry to a Phillies game, and I'm not talking about a University of Florida alum. Finally, we jam it in there, sports style. We're talking Johnny Vermont, Ronald Acuna, and the brotherly shove. Start the music. And welcome to episode 150, the 7th of what is the Two Noobs Talking podcast. We promise we will not talk over each other like a certain presidential campaign. Or
Too late for that.
You gotta go ahead and ruin it. First,
and already we have spoken so much more common sense
You'd
than
vote
the
for
Republican
that bill,
candidates did. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Nor are we shut down. That we can promise you. Over on this side of your screen, that would be Jumpy John Tracy.
Hi, John.
Can
Over
you call
on
me
this
Drive-In John Tracy today?
Drive-In?
That's all I did.
No, it doesn't start with a J. Over here we have Machiavellian Matt Craig. Not even sure what that means.
It sounds fancy. I don't know.
It does sound fancy. And in the middle, I am scandalous Steve Murray.
Is it because
that sounds about right?
Killer, or Matt is going to fake his own death? That's my question.
Well,
about right.
Matt's death won't be in any doubt when he's found bludgeoned by lemons in a bag.
Good call.
Resurrecting that episode, whatever that was. John, you were in, then you were out, then you were back in. Now here you are.
Yeah, I was.
How you feeling, man?
I was quitting. No, I'm great. Other than sitting upright, going 70 miles an hour for 8.5 hours is way to make you go insane. Especially when you drive up and down the 35 of Texas. But here's a personal note to all douchebag owners. If you treat your employees right, they will do amazing things for you on Saturday when you need them. They absolutely will do it. It's this newfound thing that we found. You treat someone right, they'll help you out when you need to be helped out. It's crazy.
That's amazing. I would have never thought that. Never.
No way.
Speaking of those mistreated, Matt, how are you, sir?
Ain't that the truth, but I'll say that. Matt doesn't.
Yeah. I guess fine. Even though I have been mistreated on this podcast for multiple weeks.
Whoa!
We all have the same stake in this thing. There's no ownership. Are you
We're all
mistreating
good.
yourself?
No,
I bash both of you equally harshly. I just want that to be known.
Absolutely true. That's
very true.
The day we met.
Exactly.
Very true. Yeah. And I don't know why, but that's very true.
It's awesome.
That's true. No, all's good. I am somewhat semi-mourning of potential loss of the Philadelphia Stars.
Thanks.
Not exactly being able to make it, I guess, with this upcoming USXL XFL merger. I can't even say it anymore.
It's too many dumb letters.
Yeah. It's like when you have like 4 or 5 letters in a football league, it's like it's over. So I don't know
and
what
anything
this.
with the rock involved is stupid.
Yeah. They apparently cannot. The rumor that I have heard is that the Stars cannot secure a stadium in the city of Philadelphia.
A couple of them.
And I'm thinking like there's Villanova Stadium that's right down the road from me. There's also what else is there? Why did it just pop up with a thumb?
Hey, let's keep that in there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everyone else saw that then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good, because I thought I was hallucinating.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes.
Let's keep that in.
I thought for a second that Matt was the first human being in history to actually produce a thought in space. That was very strange.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
This
Wow.
is his weird supercomputer.
Wow.
He can
I don't know.
with his brain.
Either that or I'm being infected by China. So I don't know what's going on. So I'll shut up now.
Well, I'm glad you bring up football because we need some closure on episode 156 that John so rudely sent us on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
I apologize.
So if you recall, last episode, flashback now. We had a tournament of 32 sports video games.
Correct.
Let's call them franchises, but they were video games.
That's correct.
And we whittled it down to the final two, and we came up with NHL 94, with the preferred console being the Sega Genesis, and the Tecmo Super Bowl, the preferred console being the Super Nintendo. And we put that out to various social medias for a vote. And the votes have been tallied. I will turn it over to John to reveal the results because I think he has the actual final numbers.
I do have the numbers. So we had a bunch of people, all 13 or however many.
That's a bunch of people.
It was a bunch of people. Now,
yeah.
Over the course of the week, a couple of listeners reached out. We had some votes on some Facebook and YouTube and all that, and we came up with 8 people picked Tecmo, 5 people picked NHL. So, I mean, that's a pretty heavy. Matt was definitely an NHL. I picked Tecmo. Steve did. Mikey Bowles, contributor to Two Noobs, picked Tecmo.
Oh, there you go.
Easy. One of our newer listeners that it does not miss an episode, Ryan, also picked Tecmo. So our audience pushed us to where I think we needed to be. And it is the greatest sports video game.
Wow.
Out of those.
It was beauty in its simplicity.
All right. Just stop, come on. Stop it.
Don't make me mistreat you, Matt. You'll be mistreated next week. Wait, I need to write that down. Hold on.
That's it. I got it, dude. I got you. Next Thursday, I'll talk to you.
All right, that'll be the notes next week. Okay.
Got it.
Oh, why don't we pivot here at this point and go to our fun fact and over 40 rant, because I know Matt's dying to get something off his chest. And that is all brought to you by Dubby Energy Drinks. Visit dubby.gg. It's dubby.gg. You get the hair of the Matt that bit you. Enter the promo code 2Noobs You get 10% off your order. Don't say we never did nothing for you. All right, John, what's the fun fact you got for us today, which you probably plucked while you were in the car driving to and from the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
10 and 2, eyes forward, always. Especially when the man's watching. I actually pulled this out when I was eating the wonderful meatloaf that my wife made for dinner. I pulled this out right after I ate because I was like,
is it a meatloaf fun fact?
Yeah, no, it isn't. I wish it was. I couldn't find anything good. But here's something interesting. During World War II, Lazy Boy, the furniture company, manufactured seats for tanks, boats, gun turrets, and armored cars.
It is amazing we ended up winning that war, because I'm just picturing tank drivers. Yeah.
That's extra comfortable.
Well, that's my point. How do you focus when you're in a comfortable recliner like that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Having ridden in a tank before, gents, it's not exactly comfortable. It's pretty much sitting on steel, if you can imagine that.
What the hell was Lazy Boy doing?
I don't know. That's a great question. Maybe
contributing to the war effort.
maybe just helping the war effort and allowing the American soldier to just go while they're blowing things up, just leaning back and just going, you know what? Okay, not good enough. Bang.
Or do you think Lazy Boy made shitty steel furniture until the government said, "What are you, stupid? Put some cushion on it." And that's how Lazy Boy blew up. They were like, "We'll put a ton of cushion on it."
Yeah.
Here's a
one
chair
never knows.
that is 17 times the size of your doorway.
Yep.
Plus, it's, don't you think it would be a little odd the U.S. government would go to a company called Lazy Boy?
It actually makes sense. Joe Biden's our president, so I mean,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he was only 87 in World War II.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Matt, all right, go off.
Well, I guess my over 40 rant has something to do with, well, it's not what it looks like. That's what I would have to say. It's not what it looks like, gents. It's just not what it looks like. Everything around me, it's not what it looks like. Okay. Everything that I'm wearing, it's not what it looks like. I'm confused over Senator Menendez's quote when he, while attempting to explain why he had $500,000 cash in his closet and 13
I wish I had that
bars.
in my closet.
I know, seriously. Said in trying to defend himself, said it's not what it looks like. So I'm kind of reminded of the whole Sheldon bit in Big Bang Theory, where Penny is disheveled coming out of the bedroom with Raj, and the implication is obviously they slept together, and Sheldon is very innocent and it's like, Penny told me last night it's not what it looks like, and he is fixated on just that phrase. And Leonard's like, after this is 2 minutes of this, Leonard's like, Sheldon, Penny's lying to you. And the look that he gave, what do you mean she's lying to me? There you go. So Senator Menendez, I don't know what else to say, but
Liar.
You deserve to be in jail. And can you send some of that money my way? Because I got some loans to pay off, in particular, like student loans and stuff like that. That'd be great. That's all I have to say. It's not really a rant, but
is he going to the Fab Six then?
Well, I mean,
he definitely qualifies.
That's an honorable mention. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're not going to carry the mantle for the rant, then I will go off then.
Please.
State inspection.
I secede the rest of my time to you. Scandalous Steve Murray. Go ahead.
I thank Machiavellian Matt Craig for passing the floor. State car inspections. What the hell?
Seriously.
I've recently found out that PA, there are other states that don't do yearly car inspections.
Really?
Yeah. So what the hell do we need to do them for? Because the only thing they're good for is getting my car to the dealership where they can try to upsell me on 5 other things that they think are wrong with the car. So a state inspection, which should cost you what, $100?
Maybe.
Assuming you pass. Well, it turns into 7, 8, 9,000.
I have heard that they may push it to every 2 years. I think.
Well, that would be nice.
State inspection, which would be very nice. Yes,
it would be nice. I am currently, I'm currently looking for someone else to do the inspection. I had a nice garage. I trusted for years. I think the guy retired.
Oh no, that sucks.
It was nearby, so I've been forced to go to the dealer. I just feel like they're ripping me off every time I go there.
They are.
Oh yeah.
I just had the inspection done at AAA. This time. I still ended up paying $700, but I had the check engine light was on.
Oh,
and you can't even pass inspection if that's on. So I knew going in I was going to have a problem, and I already knew the brake pads on the front needed to be replaced. So I knew it was going to be more
Mr.
normal.
We've noticed that your front brakes are, they're really, really low. If you don't attend to this now, you're going to be in an automobile accident.
They were low. They did need to be fixed. But I have a feeling that if I had taken it to the dealer, it would have been like $1,200.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm hoping AAA was worth the thing. But
Sounds
what
like
the hell?
yeah.
This just sounds like collusion between state government and
It's exactly what it is.
dealerships.
Because here's a funny thing. If you take a Pennsylvania car, a work truck to Texas, you don't have to get it inspected till you go back to PA.
Amazing.
It does not need to be inspected.
Well, let me ask you this: since you were the lone out-of-stater here, you were the lone out-of-stater here. Does Texas do annual car inspections?
Yes, but it's not.
They do. Okay.
It's not.
So you could
literally be missing both your bumpers, and your back window's cracked, and they're like, "Good night, it runs."
So my Machiavellian mind now is all of a sudden starting to think here a little bit. I guess what I could do is I could buy a car in Texas and then swap the plates to a Pennsylvania license and never have to pay a Texas car state inspection, could I?
Probably. You could probably do a lot of crazy things like that, and but if they do catch you,
well, yeah, that's another problem for another day. So
yeah, exactly, that's a future Matt problem. I understand.
That's a future Matt problem. I'm only dealing with the here and now, John.
I do that all the time. I have future John problems all the time. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that right now. It's gonna be his problem later on.
It's gonna be his problem later.
He'll handle it.
Live from a Texas prison, Matt Craig joining us.
Machiavellian Matt Craig.
And I will guarantee Matt's not gonna crab claw his way out and be gone for 14 days.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God.
Just guarantee that.
Quite the feat. Well, speaking of criminals, why don't we move to topic 1?
It's like we write this shit. It's fun.
Either that or we're talented, but anyway, go on.
I think people are going to assume one before the other.
Yeah.
This is a Yahoo Finance article. Target, which I frequently shop at.
Me too.
Being as how convenient it is, and it's not Walmart.
Yep.
Plans to close 9 stores and boost store security. I presume they are boosting store security at other stores besides the ones they're closing, because that wouldn't make much sense.
I would hope.
Yes.
Target Corporation recently announced its decision to close 9 stores in 4 states owing to increased instances of theft and organized retail crimes that have affected the workers' safety. Hold on. And dented its profits significantly. The closing of the stores, which will be effective on October 21st, includes 3 stores in
highly liberal areas like New York City, Portland, Oregon, San Francisco.
One more. Seattle. Yeah, bingo. He got all 4.
Oh, there you go.
Well done. Except I have a feeling he's reading the notes.
He might be.
The company invests significantly in boosting the safety and security of its workers and customers by adding more security workers, hiring third-party guard services, and installing theft deterrent tools such as locking up merchandise. It also provides training to store operators and security team members to de-escalate any potential safety issues. Despite the retailer's efforts to improve loss prevention measures, instances of theft and retail crimes soared by 120% in the first 5 months of the year compared with the year ago period.
Wow.
This led the company to anticipate an additional theft-related loss of $500 million in the current fiscal year compared with last fiscal year. The company came up with the decision to close stores due to the above-mentioned challenges. Target noted it will operate more than 150 stores in the markets where the closures will take place. The company will offer its affected store workers the option to relocate to other locations. Matt, what's going on here? What the hell?
Well, a couple of things. One, I think we need this guy to show up.
Hello,
Batman. That's one thing. But
I don't recall Batman dealing with a lot of retail theft.
No,
in the movies I watched.
No.
Definitely was not.
He was not.
Riddler,
we need
put that TV back.
Put that TV back right now. Well, I mean,
the microwave's going.
To be perfectly honest, gentlemen, this is it's been this way for a while, and you know, when you do stupid stuff, you get stupid prizes, unfortunately. And you see this now happening in it's funny how it's all happening now in the cities in the West Coast, what John had listed off there, Portland, you know, and Los Angeles, and anything else out there, San Francisco in particular. You know, guys, in California, there is a law out there, believe it or not, that says you can steal up to $900 worth of merchandise and not get punished for it.
I was wondering where that law was. Thank you for bringing that up.
It's on the books. It's 100% real.
This is ridiculous. No question about it. And to be perfectly honest, gents, it's depravity at its highest level here. It's one of the very many levels of depravity. And it's sad that we're in this state right now when a national retailer has to essentially take jobs away from people, even though they're being reassigned, I guess you could say. Some people may not choose to be reassigned. They may have to start looking for jobs elsewhere. And it's because of the theft that's happening right now. Now, either we get our shit together, maybe this is my over 40 rant, but either we get our shit together and stop this, or it's going to continue. It's sad to say. There are people out there that will do whatever it takes. There's also, you know, outside of here in King of Prussia, guys, you know it as well as I do. It's a target. It's a target for retail theft, and it happens all the time here. All the time. You know, Upper Merion, Tredyffrin, they're all over the place running around trying to catch thieves that steal stuff out of King of Prussia. So, you know, it monkey see, monkey do, unfortunately, and until we get our act together, it is what it is. Sad to say. John, what do you think?
Yeah, John, what do you think we could do to fix this? Because, you know, getting employees involved is unlikely because of the potential lawsuits if they get injured trying to stop a theft. So what is the solution here?
The problem is how these certain governors and mayors have pushed the police so far down on the thought process that it might not be fixable right away. Target's probably just going to have to take this hit and they're never going to be open again. It's going to take years and years and years to get society to get back to a place where we actually fear committing a crime, and might start with Gavin Newsom, like getting rid of a law that says $900 is okay. I mean, in San Francisco, this isn't just Target. Like in San Francisco, people literally leave their cars open at night so that their windows don't get broken. So it doesn't, like, steal whatever in there. Like that has been on the news constantly. A couple of people that I know have worked inside Portland in the last year and a half. All I hear are harsh words like, this place is a shithole. Like a shithole. Like, I don't even want to work here. I got to be here for like 5-6 hours. I don't want to be out in this pub because look at Kensington right now. Have you seen those videos? There's more crackheads than there's people. And I do not consider a crackhead a person. If you did, there are more crackheads than people. It's the zombie apocalypse all over again. You try to get. You used to travel to train, Steve. So did I. Like, could you imagine having to fight through 57 crackheads just to get to your office? Like,
that would suck.
These cities are eating themselves because of their leadership. And now maybe something will be done because now a big money store is getting affected by it. Is this what we need? Do we need to pull it all down before
I don't think this is the first big money store.
Not at all.
To shut down. I seem to recall. I think it was Walgreens.
Yep.
May have shut down some
Walmart
in
Walmart was,
San Francisco.
Walmart was ahead of the game in like 2021. They shut a bunch of stores down.
Yeah.
Way more than Target did for the same
Old Navy
reason.
too.
Yeah.
Old Navy as well in San Francisco. I remember seeing a picture of them, with, they're all boarded up. It's almost as if like they're preparing for a hurricane. They got the plywood, on that, and it's just like, it's not worth it. I mean, we know also too, guys, City of Philadelphia, Wawa has had to pull out of the City of Philadelphia. They had a marquee location right in the heart of the city, and they pulled out because people were stealing food out of their building.
Yep.
I mean, this is
there
the kind of...
There was just an incident Tuesday night where a bunch of shops got looted.
Ransacked. Yeah.
Same night I was coming back from the Phillies game. It's crazy to think that was going on while I was actually in town.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I
think, John, you're right, though. Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think the solution to all of this is really just, it starts at the home. Obviously, it starts really right there. That's number one. But then the respect of the police has to get back. Now, we could go on and on about like, oh, well, the police are really, really bad, and there's some really bad actors. Well, yeah, there are. There's no question. No one's a saint. But they are there to protect the innocent as well. So you've got that kind of a balance going on here. And if you're a police commissioner there, you got to look at your internal affairs. Seriously, you got to look at those people and get those crooked cops out of there, or train them to be better at their jobs and not take things so ultra seriously. That would be one of my suggestions, more than anything else, in regards to the cops. It also starts at home too. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to weed out, and you got to get over the whole protect your fellow police officer. If they're doing something bad, they're ruining the system for everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to get that out so you can get the respect for the police back. And then you got to pull the stupid laws that say people can steal $900 worth of stuff and get away with it.
Yeah.
It's all got, because ultimately this is going to fall back on the people who obey the laws. Now Target's going to have to raise their prices because they're losing a shitload of money because people are stealing.
Yeah.
And so law-abiding people are going to be the ones as normal to suffer. Joker was seen stealing cough syrup.
Get him. Get him now. Get him. Get him now.
You want to kill me?
Love it.
All right. Gotta clear the throat now. Topic 2. CNN article here. U.S. What are you looking for?
Just status quo.
He's just looking over his shoulder. He thinks China's out to get him.
Just watching my back.
It's a good idea. Because the U.S. has issued a stark warning about China's information efforts. The U.S. State Department issued a striking warning in a report on Thursday, accusing the Chinese government of expanding efforts to control information, disseminate propaganda, and disinformation that promotes digital authoritarianism in China and around the world. The report from the Global Engagement Center, or GEC, which combats foreign propaganda and disinformation, warns China has the potential to reshape the global information environment. Beijing would develop a surgical capability to shape the information particular groups and even individuals consume, and the international information landscape would feature significant gaps and inherent pro-PRC biases, the almost 60-page report concludes. What we've learned is that there is a dark side to globalization, and if we don't allow this information manipulation to be stopped, there's going to be a slow, steady destruction of democratic values and the secure world of rules and rights, said Special Envoy and Coordinator of the the SEC of the GEC, James Rubin, at a press conference said on Thursday. And of course, the China embassy spokesperson dismissed it all as, spreading disinformation.
What are you talking about? There's nothing like that going on.
We didn't pay Hillary.
Not at all.
As a weather balloon floated over here.
We were not directly paying Hillary Clinton for any reason. It didn't happen.
No. Not at all.
Let's go to John. John, what do you have to say about China and its efforts?
Nothing.
Nothing, apparently. Okay, moving on.
I'll break it down very simply. I read an article months ago that was during the TikTok ban, and someone was on Rogan, and he wrote a really good piece about just look at TikTok and understand what China's doing. So on TikTok in China, you get 1 million followers when you create something, when you invent something, when you have a good science project. 1 million followers, you get boosted. In America on TikTok, if you shake your ass, 1 million followers. If you're fat and lazy, 1 million followers.
Yeah.
If you're whatever, whatever the American brand is, you get 1 million followers. And that is a China-based company. Of course, a communist company is going to try to be the superpower. This is not New Noobs at all. That was a shot at Jason and Travis Kelce, by the way.
Hey, no shots at Jason Kelce. That's unwarranted.
His
Travis is fair game.
His brother's a douche, so he's got to pay some. He's got to pay some penalty.
Yeah, good luck with that new relationship.
Yikes.
That'll work out really well.
I hereby declare in a year's time.
Probably China induced.
Wait a minute.
In a year's time, Travis Kelce will be the bad guy in the subject of the next Taylor Swift hit song.
There you go.
Just saying.
There you go. Yep.
See, China reaches far. They can
Johnny, you're right,
football for us.
You're right, though.
They have invested over the last 30 years. They've invested in land. They've invested in companies here. You don't think that communist China is trying to do that? Like they always have been and always will be. That's what communists do.
Yeah.
That's
exactly what they do.
Happy little free world where everybody's like, oh, it's great and globalism is going to be amazing. No, it's not, because the cream is going to rise to the top and the people with the most money, backed by the most gold, will take over. Yeah. They really will.
Right.
Nobody thinks that the turtle will win the race anymore. Everybody thinks that, we're the rabbit. We do all these things. We're going to win this race. China's just going to pay a little bit more money to this company, pay a little bit more money to the company. They're going to, if it keeps up, they're going to get into the schools. They're going to get into the TV programming. Yeah. And everybody's going to look and go, how the hell do they do that? Well, because that's what they do. They're good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the disinformation is a huge concern, obviously. And you're right on, John. I mean, the communists have always had that as the fallback position. If anything, they're excellent at disinformation. Really what they do. Excellent. But fortunately for us, what we got to do is we have to combat that. And it's interesting we're talking about this, because my dad, whenever he would get involved in some sort of like war game simulation, the biggest thing that they talk about is how well are you communicating, first of all, within your own group, but then spreading your information out and dominating the other party so that they are disorganized and things along those lines. And the way you do it is, basically you want to obviously do it for good. And the Chinese, it's kind of like, well, I'm not really sure. And I think your TikTok example is a great example here, because it's like, that's a great sample of saying, hey, if you're doing a paper or you're doing something where it's like it's benefiting society, 1 million followers. If you're an American, well, you're dumb as fuck. You're going to get, and you're going to get 1 million followers. That is a disinformation campaign. And it's something we need to fully address as Americans more than anything else, to be able to combat that.
So what I'm hearing is, as Dr. IP, I need to shake my ass to get 1 million followers instead of sharing beneficial information.
Number 2 needs to shake his ass more than anything else. Number 2 needs to do it more often.
Yo, next episode, my boobs are out. I mean, we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, but it's for the content.
It's for the greater good. Gotcha.
It's for the greater good. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's some examples they gave of some of the Chinese efforts, which are both overt and covert. And the promotion of its control tactics have a particular focus on Asia, Africa, and Latin America, The report says, while detailing these examples, in an East African country, the Chinese government struck an agreement with a local newspaper, and the newspaper agreed that the PRC paid articles would not have a direct connection to the PRC. In Lithuania, phones made by PRC company Xiaomi were pre-programmed to remotely censor around 450 phrases used by users, including Free Tibet and Democracy Movement. In 2021, 24% of European smartphones were Xiaomi. The PRC has also ratcheted up cooperation with Russia to spread disinformation about Ukraine, the report says, and Beijing routinely echoes the Kremlin's claims like its argument it is denazifying Ukraine.
Yeah.
The report attempts to conclude on a hopeful note, saying that Beijing's efforts have encountered major setbacks in democratic countries. Are you for imprint certain? But if the PRC's vast operations are not countered, it finishes, China will encounter less resistance to reshaping the international order to the detriment of individual liberties and national sovereignty around the world.
That's huge.
Gentlemen, let us toast our non-idiocy.
We'll try.
Final thoughts on the Chinese here.
I don't have any water in here, so I can't toast you, Steve. Sorry about that. No, yeah, it's important. It's something that we need to always be combative against them, unfortunately, until they drop communism. Really. I mean, that's what it's all about.
They won't.
I know they won't, Johnny. I know.
This is they're taking just so we can bring it full circle. They're taking the playbook is Putin's playbook. That's all they're doing. They're just using Putin's playbook. This is why freeing all those countries from the USSR was so important to get to free thinking up. And Ukraine is a whole nother thing, because I'm not even sure if I'm comfortable with Ukraine with the United States relationship. So I'm not calling one bad and the other, but I'm gonna just stay out of it until it all comes out. But that is what superpowers do. You don't think the United States government used the United States military to try to free countries in the Middle East and used similar tactics?
100% they did, especially in Iraq.
Yeah,
They tried to make that as a cradle of democracy in the Middle East. That's exactly
why did they
want to
do that? Because they wanted to surround Iran, so Iran wasn't a threat. Exactly. And it backfired on them but that's what superpowers do. If you want to be an American, understand. If you're really proud to be American, understand that you're playing the same game they are. We might be a little bit better because we like freeing people and not slavery. But look at our companies; they're just going that way and slavery. So are we even that better? It doesn't. Think how you want to think, but China's going to continue to do this. We just have to educate our citizens and maybe outlaw apps like TikTok and outlaw. If we're going into a global society, we need to understand disinformation better. I do not think the President of the United States or the government at this point can even do that. So we've got a couple years till we can get some people in there that can do something. So educating ourselves is all we can do.
Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
You guys really messed me up.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Machiavellian Matt Craig apologizes for that remark.
Okay, good.
I
think I'm sub-treated Steve Murray.
I don't sub-treat you. I hold you in a high regard. If I
you are stupendous.
Stupendous. I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Stupendous, Steve.
Not as stupendously stupid as this guy.
This topic is gonna be John's over 40 rant.
This is totally my over. I am so angry at this. I can't hold back. I'm sorry.
Oh
I can't.
boy.
I was before we got on. I was thinking about how angry I am about this. So I'll sit quietly. I'm sorry. I'll be right here.
Sit in the corner until I'm waiting for you.
There you go.
So this is a
Steve runs the show. Steve runs the show.
Calm. Goose frabba. Okay.
I super kick. That's what I do.
There you go.
This is from the U.S. Sun. Whatever the hell.
Oh,
that
so
is.
it's not the U.S. Oh, wow, I thought it was USA Today for some reason. I don't know.
No, it was U.S. Sun. That was the link I got anyway.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Phillies fan tries to bring 5-foot alligator into Pirates game for emotional support, but
Big
Wally
pardon?
is denied entry.
That's good.
It's a shame. This happened the night after I went to the Phillies, so I wish I
that
could
would
have
have been
there to see
great.
this.
If you had a selfie
imagine?
with the emotional sport
Oh, yeah.
alligator, that'd be so perfect.
So
Amazing.
ahead of their Wednesday night matchup against the Pittsburgh Pirates at Citizens Bank Park, one fan rocked up to the stadium with a scaly friend. The animal in question was an alligator, as tweeted by Howard Eskin of Sports Radio 94 WIP. The fan reportedly said the gator was a service animal. And as it turns out, they were telling the truth. The creature in question is named Wally, and according to their TikTok bio, they are a licensed emotional support animal. Wally turned up at the ballpark in a custom-made harness with a lead that read emotional support animal. He is owned by Pennsylvania resident Joie. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. Joy, who requires the support as he battles depression, as per the Philadelphia Inquirer. In fact, Henny has previously told the outlet that Wally likes to give hugs. All right, I'm now going to sit back and enjoy the John Tracy show.
Thank you for this. This has nothing to do with this man or his alligator. I love alligators. It's my spirit animal. I have no problem with alligators, crocodiles. I love all four-legged reptiles that eat things all the time. They're great.
Including humans?
Yeah, I don't care. If you're that stupid to get that close to an alligator, good on you, dude. I don't care. I do not care about your life.
We're going to make a mental note right now.
They are eating machines. They are impressive in what they do, how they stalk, how they play. My issue isn't with this guy, because apparently this alligator doesn't bite. And if he wants to have an emotional sport alligator in his own home, great. I'm all for it. The problem I have with the people that filed this, how the what the hell are you doing, and what government position? What you just okayed this? Like, he came into the office with the fucking 5-foot alligator, and you were just like, all right, Wally, oh, doesn't bite? Oh, we're not even trying to test that? Okay. Oh, it's for depression? This dude should have been sent to a clinic immediately. And once
not
over,
the owner.
twice
Not the
over.
owner.
No, the owner.
Okay.
The owner should have been sent.
Okay.
A couple times over, get at least 12 doctors. Then it should have been sent to Dr. Page, and then he could have okayed it. If Dr. Page said it's okay, I'm cool.
Shout out to Dr. Alex Page out there. Yeah,
exactly. He would understand what I'm saying. Like, once he signs off on it, then you can give this guy a note. But it should read, do not take this out, especially to bars or places they serve large amounts of alcohol to stupid people like Citizens Bank Park.
Good point.
Very well said.
Not touch your alligator.
There are so many things wrong with this. Good on the Phillies for saying no. I 100% agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, Wally is a celebrity, as it turns out. He has over 100,000 TikTok followers that follow along as he heads to events and venues to hug it out. The alligator is hugging it out with the public.
I would like to thank our China
see our last segment.
Yeah, exactly.
Why he has 100,000 followers.
Yeah, exactly.
Henny previously explained he found Wally in a pond at Disney World. Yikes. As Florida does not allow gators to be rehomed elsewhere in the wild, he went home with Henny, where he reportedly lives on Cheetos and chicken legs in Joey's house. Speaking in 2022, Henny explained, "I've never met an alligator that will not bite you. You fool around with their head, their instinct is to grab you. He does not do it. You can reach in there and rub his tongue. He refuses to close his mouth. We don't know why."
Until the day that he does.
Yeah. He said that after suffering tragic losses in his life, Wally seemed to catch on. "I'd lay on the couch and I'd wake up and he'd be laying on my head," he said. And I knew it was for a long period of time because I had his whole jaw print on my face.
Wow.
And he went on to add that I'll get lonely and stuff like that, and he seems to sense that stuff, and he'll come up and give me a hug. Matt,
where to even start with this?
It hurts, doesn't it?
Whatever happened to having a dog or a cat or a rodent or a rat or
Matt has
or
no
a
pets, just so everybody knows. I just
Yeah, I
put
don't-
that out there.
Okay, guys, I like. Yeah, you're right. I don't have a pet in here. For
what you
one,
have in the past.
I have had in the past. yes.
Absolutely.
When did this phrase "emotional support animal" first jumped onto the scene? When was that? That's my first question.
A couple years ago.
Was it
wanna
during the
say-
COVID?
I think it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
definitely pre-COVID.
I'm sure I heard it before that, but it's got to be within at least the last 10 years.
I mean, you guys remember when I had a parakeet?
Yes.
No, I never knew you had a
Dopey.
parakeet.
Oh, yeah. Named him Dopey because he looked like Yuri DePita from the Philadelphia Flyers. Looked exactly like him, by the way. It was a suggestion
saying
from
something.
I was in therapy at the time. You know, talking
Okay.
about feelings or whatever. Young guy trying to
Sure.
figure it all out. It was suggested to get a pet, and I didn't want we had a dog, and I didn't get I'm not a dog person. I didn't like cats.
We know
as-
that.
Yes. I've later become a dog person, but I was not back then. And I didn't like cats because I was allergic to them, so I couldn't really what was I going to do? Hug it and sneeze? Like, that would just been terrible. So I went to the pet store and I was like, bird will be fun. So I got a parakeet, and it does work when you have a relationship with a pet. It absolutely works.
Oh,
It's
I can
good
understand
for
that.
you. But taking this emotional support thing and I must carry my dog everywhere because he's my emotional support. That's weird
Yeah.
to me.
That's the problem.
That's the community. That's
Yes.
the psychiatric community just
Mhm.
giving in. This is the whole thing that we
Mhm.
talked about with the China thing. Just give in. Okay, you need this, so you need this. So now I got an emotional support mouse, and I have to take this everywhere with me, and I got an emotional support plug, and I need to take this with me. That's what we're getting to, though. That's what we're getting to.
Yes. As I
Yeah.
speak into my emotionally supportive microphone here,
Exactly.
gentlemen,
What if it was emotionally support people, and you were able to just grab your friend and pull them everywhere with you, and they could
that'd be
never get
annoying.
away from you? That's considered kidnap now, but what if that was an emotionally support friend? That'd be a little weird,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it'd be a little weird. It'd be a little
Bet.
weird. Yeah. That's the problem. You're right on the. I love it, Johnny. You're right on target with that because I think it's overused so much. Example, I'm here in my condo. You cannot, in the bylaws, you cannot have a pet of any kind in the building. You cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Dog, cat, don't matter. However, if you have a emotional support, license or whatever, you
Duck.
can. So I could get a duck called an emotional support animal,
Oh,
and I
dude.
could have a duck
Dude, if you
wandering
wanted-
around the
If you want a
condo.
duck with a Roomba, that'd be so much fun. Oh,
What would be even more hilarious
I'm
would be
moving
if
in
I
next
had
door
an
to Matt.
emotional support peacock. I could have an emotional support peacock. Yeah. The insanity goes.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the Phillies, could you even imagine? I was talking about this with you guys in pre-production. Could you imagine you're working for the Phillies? You're up front, right? You're taking all the tickets from everybody, right? They're all boop, 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 boop. They're all coming into the building, all excited. Phillies have just clinched. Then you see this guy walking in with this alligator. Can you imagine the scene? And I only wish, Steve, you were there that next
God,
night
that would've been nice.
to have recorded it, because
Yeah.
then it would have been awesome.
What the hell is that? That's an alligator. Holy
Gator,
crap.
what the
And it's not like it was a tiny one. That's a 5
No,
foot
5
Oh,
alligator.
5
Yeah.
foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 feet are the most dangerous sizes because they don't get tired as quick.
Mhm.
So I remember the Gator Boys, Jimmy from the Gator Boys that did the Gator dancing. It was back on A&E a while ago. He said the one thing that scares him to death when he goes to capture an alligator is when he sees one that is 5, 6, or 7 feet because he knows he's in. It's an all-day event. He's got to tire this thing out, and it's not going to get tired. It's more likely to eat him than it is to get tired out.
Yeah.
I remember the Mythbusters doing an experiment. Remember? I don't know if you remember this, Steve, where they dangled, like, they were trying to see whether or not you could run away from an alligator if you're running in a zigzag formation.
Oh, okay. I don't know if
they had like the quail kind of hanging and all that kind of stuff. And it's like some of these alligators, they just didn't even go for it. They didn't even go for it at all. And yet other times it's like when you poke it with a stick, boy, they are fast.
Oh yeah,
do that.
They go
fast.
No time.
Yeah. So good on the Phillies, man. I mean, I'm really glad that was stopped at the door. To be perfectly honest, that could have been a disaster. That could have been a real disaster.
Yeah. The whole problem, I think, is you're pointing out the abuse of. I'm sure there are many people who need emotional support animals, but the abuse and that, like I said, duck. I seem to recall hearing a story about somebody got their emotional support duck with them on a plane.
Oh boy,
that's a little weird. I mean, a duck. It's certainly not an alligator. But
they're so messy. Like people don't even understand that.
Yeah,
like, a duck is not a clean creature at all.
John's got 3 or 4 in the other room.
Yep, totally. But right in there.
Yeah,
shut up.
We have 2 cats, as you guys have both seen.
Yeah.
Not emotional support animals, but they do offer, comfort and emotional support in time. When we had COVID and I'm still working at home, the cat that we had a few years ago who passed away, he would sit with me all the time while I was working, and it was nice to have that.
Yeah.
And it was sad when he passed, and I didn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So I could see the need for it. But you're right. Cats and dogs, and kind of more generally mammals, do seem to have that kind of bonding experience.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen a reptile exhibit that kind of empathy.
I'm sure that it does happen.
I'm sure there's a lot we don't.
Yeah.
It's just not something that we know, but I'm sure it does happen. But
as we talked about, as we talked about in pre-production, dogs, right? So you have Chihuahuas probably account for more bites in the country than any other dog. But the pit bull gets a bad rap, even though the number of bites by a pit bull is relatively much lower. Well, the reason why is because if a Chihuahua bites you, you just go, get the fuck off me. Ow. Right? Yeah. A pit bull bites you, you may be losing a limb. It's a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
Bringing an emotional support dog, you could probably get away with that at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Because even though it's probably more likely to bite you, dog bites are one matter. An alligator bite, where they then go into a death roll, is likely to be something completely worse, even if the likelihood of it happening, according to this guy, is relatively low. So, you're right. Good on the Phillies for avoiding a safety hazard.
Now, if you will excuse me, gentlemen, I'm going to go check on my emotionally support animal's shark. See ya.
There you go.
And we'd like to take a moment to pause and have a moment of silence for Matt Craig, who did not make it back from checking on his emotional support shark, unfortunately. There it is. Oh, good.
There you go.
You survived.
I did. I did.
How's your arms?
Snappy was a little bit, he was a little lonely, so I had to go over there, and unfortunately, I didn't pet him, so I still have all control of all my fingers, which is great. So
we didn't see your. Oh, there's your other hand. Okay, good.
Hand. Yeah, all good.
Good. I was just actually, because I have a Funko Pop of the crocodile hunter over there.
Oh, nice.
Off screen, and I was just picturing him going into Citizens Bank Park. Crocky, isn't she a beauty? Look at this Gator. He's amazing. And he's watching a baseball game. Crocky, that's crackers.
Now he's got my arm. Look, he's in a
He's drinking. He's having a go at that beer. Amazing. Well,
oh man.
Topic 4. We're gonna jam it in there like a stick in your eye. Sports edition. We got 3 sports. So, that was delayed reaction.
I'm sorry.
3. That was a dive. You're called for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, see? I mean, already the crowd's booing us. Oh, man, that's terrible.
Someone found the soundboard again.
Yeah, someone. Wonder who that could be.
Can you make one of those bubbles appear above your head again?
I'm trying. I don't see that's really working, but our studio audience is loving our episode right now. There you go.
Just be careful, studio audience. There's a gator, an emotional support gator that got loose somewhere over there.
Don't forget about the shark. We got ducks over here. He's got cats. They kill
Don't forget
everything.
the peacock either. The peacock's over there somewhere.
Oh, shut up. All right, we got 3 sports stories we're going to cover here that are interesting for one reason or another, and you'll see why in a minute. The first one was a result of a tweet from Eric Lindros, obviously former Flyer, Hockey Hall of Famer.
Love that guy.
Absolute. He won our 64-man Philadelphia Athlete Tournament. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he tweeted out earlier this week. He said, "Back to school means back to hockey. My favorite time of year. I hope that the selection committee of the Hockey Hall of Fame has a real hard look at John LeClair to be inducted. The best winger and person anyone could ask for. It's time. Go Flyers." And so that raises the question: John LeClair, Hockey Hall of Fame worthy, yay or nay? I'll go to John first.
Absolutely. I think in pre-production, I said that his comparable person was Keith Tkachuk, who is in the Hall of Fame.
I believe you are correct on that. I think so.
Verify
that.
Matt will double check while you continue to spiel.
It's a no-brainer. I mean, especially because it came from Eric Lindros. I mean, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. When he tags somebody as, hey, you should probably be in the Hall of Fame, you know what he meant to him, first of all, being a Hall of Fame player, and he understands what it is to be a Hall of Famer. So he's looking at that guy, and it's not like Eric Lindros is tweeting out, hey, the 4th line player on the Tampa Bay Lightning, that dude could get in the Hall of Fame someday. He's literally talking about someone that he's dressed with and played with for a while. So I tend to just lean on his hockey knowledge more than my hockey knowledge. I think he's in, but if Eric Lindros is saying he's in, I think that's clear.
Yeah. So just to verify it, Keith Tkachuk is currently not in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He has over 1,000 points in his career, though. 1,065 points, 538 goals. John LeClair, interesting, we looked this up in pre-production, 406 goals, 413 assists, 819 points in 967 games played in his career. What blew us away, gentlemen, I think, was his plus-minus.
Yeah.
204 for his career.
And this is not a guy who was lauded for his defensive prowess.
No, not at all.
You didn't really think defense and John LeClair in the same sentence, but apparently...
or skating ability. He lumbered a lot.
Yeah, with the Flyers, I'm trying to think here, plus 197. So of the 204, he was plus 197 with the Flyers, scoring 333 goals. Of course, had the famous 3 seasons in a row, 95 to 98, scoring more than 50 goals in a year. So 51, 50, and 51. And then followed that up in 98, 99 with 43 and another 40 the following year after that. So he was a tremendous goal scorer.
That counts in the NHL. I mean, that's...
For him to be a Hockey Hall of Famer, yes, he is in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I would vote him in 100%. LeClair and Lindros are like this. They were dynamic 100%, even though they didn't win the Stanley Cup together. course, Leclerc won it with Montreal. Doesn't matter. Put him in. Put him in Toronto right now. I totally agree.
Prior to a few months ago, I sentimentally wanted him in, but I didn't think he had the numbers to get there because he didn't have, 500 goals or 1,000 points or anything like that. And then when Lindros made this tweet earlier, I was reminded of an article I read several months ago. It came from the Daily Face-Off, and if you get a chance, you should check that article out, where they make the case for John Leclerc to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Some of the points they made, first off, in that span, Matt, where you were talking, where he had the 3-time 50 goals and 40, his production, he had the only player in that time span, 94 to 2000, who had more goals was Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah.
The only player above him in goals. And he also, his point total in that same span, he was like 5th or 6th in points in that time span. So I mean, he was a legitimate top 5 forward for a period of 5 or 6 years. And some naysayers will say, "Oh, well, he was playing with Lindros." Apparently, he played in 96 games without Lindros in that span, was still scoring at a 46 goal pace. So it doesn't seem like playing with Lindros really would have changed his goal production in that span.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, he had 2 overtime game winners to help the Montreal Canadiens win a Stanley Cup. Yeah. He was huge in the 96 World Cup for the United States. He played juniors. The World Juniors, did very well there. And as far as his career totals being too light, the article also reminds you he played 4 years of college hockey. So he wouldn't have even come into the NHL until he was probably 22.
Yeah.
Missed a season and a half of lockouts, the 2004, 2005, as well as the 94, 95 lockout half of that year. And he also had a severe back injury in 2000 that limited his production. So
that's right. He played in 16 games in 2000, 2001.
Yeah, I remember that. It was not
devastating. That was tough. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And by the way, his plus minus over his 16 seasons, plus 204, trailed only Jagr, Sergei Fedorov, Peter Forsberg, and Lindros in the plus minus. Yeah. So I would agree. Hockey Hall of Fame for John Leclerc.
And as a power forward. It's
absolutely
crazier.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's one other thing I forgot in the article. He scored 50 goals a bunch of times in an era where it was hard as hell to score 50 goals.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
clutch and grab. Yeah.
The clutch and grab era, guys riding on your back like backpacks to prevent you from scoring. So
yeah, unbelievable.
Good. So we're unanimous. He's in.
Yes.
All right. Next article story. Cubs announcers get upset when the Braves stop game to salute Ronald Acuna Jr., who had just stolen his 70th base, making him the first and only member of the 40 home run, 70 stolen base club. So Acuna took the base out of the ground and took it as a memento, and apparently a video montage was played on the scoreboard all while the game was held up for several minutes. Wow. They were playing the Chicago Cubs at the time. The Cubs announcers were upset, saying things like, "We're really stopping the game to do a highlight montage. Can we get the base after the game? This is pretty absurd. It's a hell of an accomplishment, totally, but you can't stop the game to run a highlight montage." Just to give you some context, this was a 5-5 game in the bottom of the 10th inning. And had huge playoff implications for the Cubs, who I think are still hanging on for dear life in the wild card race.
Pretty much.
So, Matt, I'm going to ask you first. Do you side with the announcers on this one, or are you okay with the Braves saluting Acuna and halting play for this?
Yeah, wow, that's a tough call. I mean, part of me is like, I like the Cubs. They're lovable losers. I love the Cubs. I would, and one of my career goals is to actually watch a game in Wrigley Field. I've never been. Would love to be able to do that. That being said, though, the Cubs announcers are going to be pro Cubs. We've talked about this before, when we're talking about propaganda, kind of things along those lines. So they're gonna crap over who they're playing, and I understand the fact that they're in the midst of a playoff race, and they want to, it's a huge game for them, and they don't want to stop it in that regard. So I get it. It is a tremendous accomplishment, but I would think it's also an asterisk because the bases are bigger. That's just my personal opinion. Don't tell anybody on this podcast.
How many bases do you think Ricky Henderson would steal?
Oh God, 130 or 200. He'd probably be ridiculous. The amount.
I was going to say all of them, but
literally all of them. Yeah. I mean, a realistic number probably 150 because he ran all the time. So he probably got thrown out, 70 times because
when you're only told. When you get on first base and, hey, guess what? The pitcher can only throw over here twice.
Yeah.
If you're Ricky Henderson, you're going to be like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like those odds.
Yeah. I like those odds.
One lead, I step back. One lead, I step back later. Bryce Harper's proved that. He's stolen so many bases off of that dumbass rule. Because you're not throwing the third time, dude. You already threw twice. Later, I'm on second base.
Ricky, in 25 years, can you believe that he played baseball for 25 years?
He did.
1,406 stolen bases in his career. Caught 335 times. So if he has this, and the highest, I think, if I look this up here really quick,
he had over 100.
The highest he ever stole was 130 in 1982.
Oh, he would. That record would be broken immediately.
Oh yeah, it'd be like 200. Yeah, in this baseball, 200. Easily 200.
And the rule of you can only throw over 2 times.
Yeah.
That would it'd be over.
Yeah. All right. So John, what is your thought process here? Were you okay with the Braves stopping the game, or do you agree with the Cubs guys?
I think we over celebrate anyway. So of course they're gonna do it. I think they've just beat me into submission that this was gonna happen. Blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. And to the point, at the time of the recording of the podcast, the Cubs are a game and a half back. It's not like they're trying to help themselves to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
No. So do I feel bad? Do I feel bad? No, not really.
Yeah.
He's a really, really good player.
Acuna. Yeah. No question.
I feel we need to embrace these players because they don't come along that often.
Yeah.
The talent that this kid has. So yeah, would it have been better if we did it at the end of the game, if we got a little photo op, if we did a little, he picked up the base and that. But Ricky Henderson, they did it with Ricky Henderson in the game when he broke the all-time record. Immediately the bag came up, picture taken.
So that's where I kind of come at, right? If you're breaking a record, I think it's more significant than, he made the 40-70 club.
The first to do it. Yeah.
That's made up.
But he probably, that's made up, right? Because he probably, I'm going to assume he was the first 40-69 club.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
We're only celebrating it because he reached a round number in stolen bases at this point.
True. Very true.
Right? So
very
he hasn't, so he set this, but he didn't really break a record. He just reached a round number.
Yeah.
And, I would tend to think in a lot of those games where they stopped something to celebrate, it was like the third inning of a game, maybe that wasn't that critical, not extra innings where somebody's playoff life is hanging on the balance.
It's a little douchey. It's a little douchey.
Yeah.
Stop at that.
Little bit.
I think you're convincing me there, Steve.
I think we'd freak out if that happened to the Phillies during a playoff push and some dude hit his career high in home runs, which would be 29. And he trotted around the bases and he was dancing for 20 minutes. I think we'd be pissed. And there's
taking a nice leisurely jog around the base.
Look, if he stole base number 131, I'm assuming Ricky Henderson has the stolen base.
We don't know.
So let's assume Ricky Henderson his stolen base record is 130. He breaks Ricky Henderson, steals 131.
Totally
okay,
different.
That's a huge accomplishment.
All for it.
Yeah.
All for it. I mean, there was a record that existed. You've now broken it. it's not just reaching a round number. And 70, it's like...
Just seems odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems odd. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, now to the completely inane.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Unless you've been living under a rock and haven't been watching the Eagles play, you happen to know that they got really good at the quarterback sneak. And it tends to be because they have a really good offensive line and a quarterback who can bench 600 pounds or something crazy like that.
And don't forget, their running back in the last 2 games is built like a brick shit house. The dude is so big. He looks weird because he's only 5'9", and he's wider.
He looks so much better. He looks so much better in an Eagles uniform than
Doesn't
the Detroit
he?
Lions.
Oh man, he
uniform.
looks
It's amazing.
He is
it looks amazing.
Tip-top shape.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Sure he does.
Yeah.
However, there are some in the NFL community who would like to see what is called the tush push, or as someone in the Philadelphia area has redubbed it, the brotherly shove. They would like to see that banned. This was brought up last offseason, and the competition committee decided not to ban the play. And we're talking about, it's a quarterback sneak, but you have 2 players behind who help to push the quarterback through the line.
While the line dives down.
It's more of an assist. You're
An assist.
assisting him to the first down mark.
While the
we'll talk
offensive
about
line
that in a
does a
second.
rugby type move where they get underneath the people and
Right.
decleat them, so that everybody is kind of laying down and the quarterback can have his way.
There you go.
Well, the competition committee met in the offseason, decided not to ban the play. But with the Eagles having successfully run it several times once again this season, there are renewed calls from pundits, quips, morons to get rid of it. And before we discuss the merits of it, I'm going to read 3 quotes which I thought were some of the more the less persuasive arguments, I'll say, for getting rid of it.
Okay.
I'll give Rich Eisen's first. Rich Eisen, I usually respect his opinion, but in this case, I respectfully disagree. He says, I think it's particularly unfair, which is why the competition committee is looking at it, because the offense has the opportunity to shove a player at the defense, as well as then pull the ball out from that formation and throw it. So it's difficult to defend. It's almost impossible to defend. It's ugly. It's not rugby. Then we'll go to Peter King. I am on record last year many times loudly saying it's an abomination. It's an idiotic rule, and the NFL has made, in my opinion, a terrible mistake in not legislating a rugby play out of the NFL. And those 2, Eisen is first, it's about being unfair, but then he goes to the Peter King argument, which is, it's a rugby play, it's ugly, it doesn't. So I forget who said it, but they said something about how the NFL wants to showcase the talent and athleticism, and this is just bleh.
It's football.
What is this?
right, exactly. Because defensive players absolutely knocking offensive players out is an athletic show. But then we go to the truly stupid and psychotic argument, which came out of the mouth of one Christopher Sims.
He's really good at this too. I mean, he's a pro. He's a pro. He is as Hall of Fame-esque at this stuff as his dad was at quarterback.
So his quote
about Chris Sims.
His quote was, "If I was a defensive coach, I'd be go headhunting on the quarterback here. Go crazy. Try to kill the quarterback. That's what I'd do. I don't mean it like that. Well, I don't mean kill, but make him pay. Make him think twice about it."
Oh.
But you can't, because we've just discussed they're decleating everybody. I'm all for, if a safety wants to fly over the top and tackle Jalen Hurts, it's allowed. It's literally
stop the play.
It's allowed. Stop the play. The Eagles have been stopped at times because someone didn't fall. Jason Kelce didn't fall the right way, and then someone
stop picking on Jason Kelce. God damn it.
Your brother's Travis. I'm going to pick on you. There are times where it didn't work, And there's also real football plays that they've used out of this where they line everybody up like that and they pitch the ball to the left or right. I can't remember, but they had a positive play. That's a football play. That wasn't a rugby play. That was a literal football play. They just looked like they were going to do that, and all of a sudden they ran another play. I think that's the point of why it should stay in the NFL. Other teams should try it. Get the kind of offensive line that the Eagles got. It's going to cost you a little bit of money.
Other teams are trying it. Other teams are trying it, and they're failing.
Yes.
Including one Shane Steichen in his Indianapolis Colts. He's figuring out now that they don't quite have the offensive line.
The Indianapolis Steichens are not doing well. How about that? I would never guess that. Yeah.
Well, they're not successfully running the brotherly show.
Play, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Guys, I have to make a side comment here. Why, whenever Peter King and or Chris Sims talk, my IQ points go down 200? I don't quite understand.
It's because you listened. I hear.
Is that the reason?
I hear blah 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 blah, and I go, "Oh, he made a point. What did he make a point about?" And then I just read the headline what he made the point about, and I was like, "He's an idiot anyway." So, I keep my IQ points because I don't actually
see. That's the thing.
Hear him.
I want to treat people. That's the thing, Johnny. I want to treat people with respect and dignity and class, but it's like at the same time, it's like when these people like talk, that goes out the window. Like they're dumb.
Matt's going all Forrest Gump on us.
They are dumb.
My brain worked good.
I'm sorry that your ears hurt from listening to these people.
I'm sorry. I am too, but it's like, but
they're dumb.
God, that just dumb. Just dumb takes.
Yeah.
Get a defensive line that can stop the play. In the same motion too, with Rich Eisen, who I also respect. I'm with you, Steve, on that. I respect Rich Eisen a lot. The logic, though, that he's saying, where Jalen could pull the ball out instead of them, instead of going forward, they pull the ball out. It's like a play action pass doesn't do that.
Right?
Like, what's going on there? Like, that's the flaw in the argument. It's like, Rich, with all due respect, you might as well get rid of the play action pass. You might as well just do it, or the read option. Same deal. You're pulling the ball away. And then you're throwing it. So it's like, so what's the difference between this play, and the potential that they could pull it out? I guess. I don't know how you would do that, but I guess you could just throw it over the top. I've seen that happen all the time. They leak out a tackle, and the guy will throw the ball into the end zone. The tackle will make the catch. Tackle eligible will make the catch in the end zone for a touchdown.
And you can run that same fake out of a normal quarterback sneak.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily this formation. So I think what we're seeing is a lot of these guys, their arguments are not holding water.
Yeah.
I mean, Eisen's is
the most respectable of the three.
He's the most respectable of the three, but even he goes to the argument that it's ugly, like Peter King. That's not a legitimate reason to ban a play. Yeah. That's just dumb. Yeah. And as for Chris Sims, well,
you're an idiot.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Now, the only legitimate argument I've heard against the brotherly shove so far actually came from Richard Sherman. And he made a decent point. He said, my problem with the tush push is the NFL literally banned defensive players from pushing other players into the offensive formation on field goal and PATs because it was a health and safety issue. But now it's okay because it benefits the offense. That's a legitimate question.
That is a legitimate
question. I 100% agree with what he said. That doesn't seem fair. If the rule committee came out and said health and safety, we're not going to do the pushing anymore, I'm cool with it because you're doing it for both sides of the ball, and we know that they care more about the offense, less about the defense, and they could give a bleep about the special teams players. We know that's how the NFL works. If they were to take the kickoffs away, take this away, and take the push of the defense away, I'm okay with it because it's about player safety. But this is what the NFL does. One doesn't equal the other.
Yeah, the way they've done it though, Johnny, is that they've basically totally outlawed the kickoff to begin with.
Yeah.
Taking one of the most exciting plays in their product away from the field. And I get it. It is a brutal play. It's like you're running full speed down the field to catch somebody.
That's football.
Yeah. It's what they signed up for.
The gladiator sport. It's a gladiator sport. That's all it is.
I've always thought that was kind of
because of that.
Yeah,
I thought it was kind of stupid to do that because the kickoff, the guy has room to catch the ball.
Yep.
To me, the punt return is much more dangerous
Way
because you've got to wait there for the ball while they're coming at you, and they could literally be like in your face by the time the ball gets there, and you can get decked if you're not calling for a fair catch. Whereas a kickoff, you can catch the ball and you have time to evaluate the field before you take off.
Yeah.
So that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But I think Sherman is onto something. I don't know exactly what they banned. He would know better more than I would. I do know the whole issue. They were worried about the center on field goals because he's got to hike the ball way back there, and so his head is down. He can't protect himself.
He's not in a position to protect himself at all.
Right.
Because he's doing that thing, whatever that thing is.
Right.
He's chucking the ball like 10 feet or 10 yards or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like it's
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but he is at least given a colorable argument as to why.
I would love to have that debate on ESPN.
Sherman.
I would love to have that debate on ESPN. I would love to be involved in that. That's a well thought out.
Yeah.
Other than the other guys.
Thought out. And meanwhile, Peter King goes, "It's ugly.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
ugly.
It's an abomination."
When
Shame.
just to let Peter King take all the credit, you're just ugly watching you fat slob. Like, you talking offends me as much as that offends you. Donuts,
Chris Sims right up there too. Chris Sims offends people, but just by him talking, I don't know.
Well, he's as offensive as his dad was good.
Exactly.
Well, not everyone agrees that it should be banned. However, J.J. Watt chimed in. He says if they weren't allowed to push from behind, the Eagles would still be just as successful at quarterback sneaks. Yes, it helps, but the push isn't the reason it's successful. The O-line and Jalen are.
Yeah.
And I think he's onto something because in some of those plays, I have seen Devontae Smith back there giving the shove. Yeah. And he weighs about as much as a wet piece of paper. I don't think he's contributing much in the way of pushing Jalen over the line of scrimmage.
To his point, where they succeed is, and shockingly, Kelsey, number one. Yep. And have you seen the people that are standing next to Kelsey? Yes. They are far bigger than Kelsey. Landon Dickerson is like two Kelseys. He's Travis and Jason together, and then you've got this year you have Cam, who is a monster.
Yeah,
they would just pick a side and run over them, and Jalen could get over that.
If you're Jalen,
my biggest point I wanna leave, and I will shut up after this. You guys can finish this. I think this is so stupid because this is what I pose to everybody. I think that they would have a lower success rate if they had to go against the Eagles defense than the rest of the league. Which I mean, Sirianni is such a good coach. His lines are coached to win attack points. And I think that's why this succeeds. I would love to see the statistics on how many times Jordan Davis has snuffed Jalen Hurts trying to come over the middle when Kelsey's trying to clip his legs. I think it's more coaching than it's talent, but it's the attack points that they come at are far better than the rest of the league.
Yeah, totally.
Agree. The lines on both sides of the ball for the Eagles do tremendous work, and they're well coached. And I do think it's talent, physical gifts, i.e., size.
Yes,
Jordan Davis is no
he's the
Jason
size
Kelsey.
Of this room.
Neither does Jalen Carter either. Jalen Carter's a beast too.
He's a big boy.
No,
he's a big boy.
Yeah, and Fletcher Cox is not small by any means either.
No.
So it's talent, size, coaching. I think all play a huge role. And so that'll bring an end to our Eagles talk. I'm sure many grateful wishes to Glenn that's over.
Yes.
However, I will remind you that
Get
Your
over it,
Cowboys lost to the Jonathan Gannon-led Arizona Cardinals, which you
Yeah.
should be ashamed of.
Yeah, who we said is going to be
Ashamed.
fired by week 7. So
Have you seen the hype video? My God.
My God,
Yikes.
it's bad.
When
It
does
is not good.
when does Brazier wearing Kyler Murray come back to the team to lead them to victory again with Jonathan
I think
Gannon?
halfway in the season, I think I heard.
Okay,
I could be
okay,
wrong.
Okay.
John, what is the name of the quarterback of the Cardinals that won that game?
Dobbs.
Yeah, so that was his
Dobbs?
first career win,
I
I
can't
believe.
even remember his name.
Joshua Dobbs, yeah.
Okay,
That
there
was
we go.
it was his first career win. And were you the one who said he can't even buy his jersey at the team store?
No, he
like
cannot. He did it. He did a TikTok. He did the any name and like put any name on the jersey and went through the team. He could buy a Kyler Murray one. He could buy a Zach Ertz one. He could buy any of the offensive line, any wide receiver, any defensive back, any safety. Bro was not on the list. They forgot to put him on there.
Hilarious. That is hilarious.
Oh, that's too much
And
fun.
good
We
on
had
him.
Too much fun.
Good on him to have the fun to create a video like that. I'm a petulant child. I'd be pissed. I'd be running up into the office. Good on him to have the fun to just be like, hey guys, look, the NFL sucks. My name's not on here. Oh, if I'm a starting quarterback in the NFL, I'm kicking doors in.
The ability to self-deprecate is
Yes,
very
it's
underrated
huge.
and highly
Yeah.
important to success in life. I'm sure if this happened to John, somehow it was because Roger Goodell was a racist.
It would have been, yeah, I would have been holding that flag up outside.
There you go.
Waving it all
There
day.
you go.
All right, well, that wraps up a highly entertaining episode 157 of Two Noobs Talking. Gentlemen, do we have anything further to say before we sign off for yet another week?
Go Phillies, go Eagles. That's all I have to say, baby. Go Phillies, go Eagles. Let's do it.
Go Flyers, Bobby Brink.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Loving it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to us here at Two Noobs Talking. If you want more of Two Noobs on social media, we're here for you. You can find us by searching Two Noobs Talking on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clapper. Have a great week, and we look forward to delivering another great episode to you next week. Take care.